All right, Mr. TALIAFERRO, how's everybody doing out there? Real quick, couple things before I get into this video that I do want to get off my chest. If you have not done so yet, I have a Facebook account that is going to create different type of content, consumable content for you. Please head over, type in Mr. TALIAFERRO on Facebook. Real quick, stop the video, whatever. Like my page, that's all I'm asking. I thank y'all so much for the love that y'all show me. Also, real quick, since we're about to talk about Chris Brown has a new record with Drake that is out in the atmosphere. Let me tell you something, whether you like, hate, love, whatever with that record, you're going to hear that record over and over again for the next calendar year. You got it, girl, you got it. I actually like the record a lot, but let me make something clear. There is a lot of big business behind that record, and it will be the #1 record in this country whether you like it or not because of a multitude of reasons, including that Chris Brown needs a hit record really bad. They're pushing this narrative with Drake and Chris Brown for some bigger business down the line. So yeah, this will be #1 no matter what. But you can tell me what you think about the record in the comment box below. Speaking of Chris Brown, another reason why he needs this record with Drake to be #1 is because he is about to go on another tour. All right, this summer heading into the fall, Chris Brown announced a new tour the other day that will feature Tory Lanez, Ty Dolla $ign, Joyner Lucas, and Yella Beezy. You got some phenomenal talent there. Ty Dolla $ign, super respected. Tory Lanez, he's great. And Joyner can rap. So there's a new tour coming up. It's gonna be called the Indigo Tour. And a lot of people are like, this is dope. Get to see Chris on the road. By the way, I just saw Chris over the weekend. And let's just pray. All I'm gonna say is this. Let's just pray that the show he gives on this tour is much more thought out than the show that I saw in public from Chris Brown over the weekend, because he was not good. His voice was raspy. The dance moves weren't as crisp. You know what I mean? That was my first time ever seeing Chris Brown live, but that wasn't it, Chief. So hopefully the tour is amazing. Chris Brown usually puts on a great show. I don't know what the hell I got over the weekend. Maybe he just partied too much in Atlanta. Anywho, with that being said, a lot of people are happy about the tour Chris Brown's about to go on with Ty Dolla, Joyner Lucas, and company. But people were expecting a different name to be co-headlining this tour with C Breezy. Because Chris Brown did put this energy out in the atmosphere a couple months ago, he did talk about how him and Nicki were going to get a tour together. And if you remember, I told you guys on the platform, I thought it was the perfect idea. I think Chris Brown and Nicki Minaj are two of our generation's best talents. I think Chris Brown has been the most talented on the R&B side when you encompass all the traits that he can do on that stage when he's at 100%. And then Nicki, she's been the biggest female rapper for over a decade now. So I'm thinking both of these acts together, and they're kind of on the decline of their careers. Yeah, they still make hit music now, but it ain't got the same impact that it once did. Many would argue Drake's passed by Chris Brown on that R&B side. And obviously, Cardi's making waves to pass Nicki if she ain't already passed Nicki as well. They don't have the impact that they both once did, right? And with that being said, I don't believe these two acts can individually headline a tour. We've seen them have problems with tickets in the past. More Nicki Minaj than Chris. But I don't think they can do a tour by themselves anymore and just pretty much have some super local acts. So I thought maybe they could both hold 50% of the weight, right? I thought that was very doable for both of these acts. But now we're not going to get that tour. All right, when Chris Brown announced this tour, it was clear as day Nicki Minaj was nowhere around this tour. And I have found out through the grapevines that it's not like Chris Brown removed Nicki Minaj from the tour, but he definitely replaced the idea of having Nicki on the tour because Nicki never signed on. Now, this information coincides with, I've seen a lot of Nicki fans, they've been asking kind of where her whereabouts have been over the last few months. She's been pretty quiet and mute. Now, Nicki's team is saying, look, the reason why Nicki and Chris ain't doing the tour anymore is because Nicki's trying to focus on some new music and the timing just wasn't right for her, and they're pretty much alluding to Chris Brown trying to rush this tour. I was hearing maybe Nicki will be ready to do a tour by the fall, later, maybe even getting close towards the winter, when it gives her more time to cook up some more good music, get a hit on the radio right now. But for right now, she ain't ready to do that, and she never signed on, even though there was a lot of hype on social media. It looks like one of those things where Chris Brown got the idea, and it sounded great on both sides, but the business wasn't worked out, nowhere near worked out for what it would take for that tour to take place. And that's why we see this tour not taking place. I don't know any other details about Nicki. I know there's a lot of speculation out there about, you know, her and her life. I don't know. I wish her nothing but the best. I wish C Breezy nothing but the best. Again, these are two of our best talents of this, you know, of our era, right? And, you know, it is tough to see. Look, I watched, like I said, I saw Chris Brown live over the weekend. That is not the Chris Brown that we seen a lot of people say he'd be the next Michael Jackson. What I saw over the weekend was not it, Chief. All right, the voice was raspy. He did apologize for the raspy voice. The dance moves were not crisp, and I don't know what it was at a music festival. I don't know what was worked out in his agreement when he signed on to do that music festival, but that was not best in the world or generational type talent shit he was doing on stage. It was okay. It was good. He's just so talented. He could never fall off completely. But that wasn't generational talent that I saw on that stage. And in regards to Nicki, we saw what happened last year around this time when she was trying to do that tour with Future. That shit went up in flames. They were not selling tickets. Those venues, there were some venues out there that didn't even sell 30-40% of the tickets. So we've seen them both have trouble over the last few years. I think acclimating to the way music is consumed now, kind of narrowing down the music that they want in their projects, and just trying to acclimate. I think the biggest thing for both of these acts is how much of their personal life do they give, right? Like, you talking about Nicki, she got to compete with Cardi, and some of these other female acts like Megan Thee Stallion and the City Girl, they give it up. They give up all of their life on social media, right? They give up a lot. Nicki came up in that era where less was more. That's a huge adjustment. And then Chris, we've heard rumors of, you know, past drug usage and all that. He doesn't give up a crap ton of his personal life in an era where a lot of people are giving up a lot of their personal life. So, hey, we'll see what happens going forward. There will not be a Nicki Chris Brown tour in 2019, though. I thank you guys so much for the time, but I don't take it for granted. If you have not done so, please head over to the book, that good old Facebook, and like my page. Type in is Mr. Taliaferro. Just type in ITSMR. I think it'll pull up. Or copy my YouTube name over in the Facebook. I thank y'all. I'm out. I came from nothing, but I want everything God has for me. I interview celebrities. I talk sports. I still represent the culture.
All the kids, they are now tuned in.
Yo, we locked in right now, Mr.
Taliaferro.
Mr. Taliaferro.
Mr. Taliaferro.
Mr. Taliaferro.
Shout out to Mr. Taliaferro.
You're watching Mr. Taliaferro TV.
Mr. Taliaferro TV. Here with the triple B's, you can't do nothing but win.